And I give the floor to Amuta for NGO Responsibility.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The 2001 Durban Conference, and in particular the accompanying NGO Forum, marked a very troubling development in the history of universal human rights and in the role of the United Nations in this process. Instead of marking the end of apartheid in South Africa and launching a global effort to eradicate racism and discrimination, Durban's primary legacy is one of hatred directed at Israel, the nation-state of the Jewish people. From the poorly advised choice of location of the PrepCom, from which Jewish and Israeli delegates were banned, and through the final declarations which singled out Israel on the basis of double standards and false allegations, this aspect of the Durban process was a failure. As noted by Professor Erwin Kotler, who led the Canadian delegation, as well as the late Representative Tom Lantos from the United States and many others, this anti-racism conference itself became a vehicle for racism directed at Israel. The NGO Forum was particularly notorious in this respect, and many of the organizations that participated actively in this moral disaster have sought to remove the stain on their own moral claims. The final declaration reignited the infamous Zionism is Racism resolution and reminds us of the rejection of the UN General Assembly Resolution 181 in 1947, the original two-state solution calling for both Jewish and Arab peoples to have independence. The Durban NGO Declaration calling for the complete international isolation of Israel through the exploitation of real suffering under apartheid continued the immoral campaign to deny legitimate rights of the Jewish people to self-determination. The Durban NGO Forum also launched the Immoral Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions Movement, BDS, which this Council is being asked to endorse. BDS is a form of political warfare and demonization, and the most troubling legacy of the Durban failure. I would ask the members of this Council to bring this tragic chapter in the history of human rights to a close, 13 years too late. Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Muchas gracias. Doy a continuación la palabra.
Thank you. I give the floor to the Islamic Women's